b. So 4.7b, this is going to be law of cosines. So you will also have to have this formula memorized, but I think it's pretty straightforward and we'll talk about it. So a few things about law of cosines. First of all, it is to be used kind of like a last resort. If you cannot use law of sines, then you have to use law of cosines. Here's the formula, but we're going to talk about the formula. Would not worry about having this memorized because it's pretty, you do have to have it memorized. I misspoke. But it's not as complicated as it looks. So it's a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine a. And again, I just have to reiterate, don't worry about how busy that looks. It's actually very straightforward. So here's how you know when it's going to be the last resort. You've got two cases. If you have an angle with all sides given, so side, side, side. If you have a triangle with all sides given, in other words, no angle. Or if you're giving an angle, side, angle. In other words, you don't have matching angle with leg. If you do not have a matching angle with a leg. Some more tips about this. The largest leg or the angle drives the problem. And I'm going to write the word drives in capital letters, and that's it. That's really all I need. Largest leg or the angle drives the whole process. We're going to go through 3 examples. 2 examples are going to be side, side, side. The last one is going to be angle, side, angle. Actually, I apologize to you. I wrote that wrong. That should say side, angle, side. I'm so sorry. That should say side, angle, side. All right, let's go ahead and get started with example 1. So on example 1, I'm just going to draw an oblique triangle, just some random triangle. Let's label it ABC, but I'm only giving you leg measures. So please take a moment to write that down and look at it. And then the longest leg drives the entire process. So the longest leg is 24, but what leg is that? A, B, or C? What leg is this? It's B. It's across from angle B. It's leg B. So we are going to use this formula, but we're going to use it for the longest leg. So remember, law of cosines, it starts with whatever the longest leg is, and then it's going to be b squared. Then you have a whole bunch of stuff we're going to fill in, but if it starts with b, then it ends with b. B squared on one side, cosine b on the other. Starts with the same letter, ends with the same letter. This stuff in between, y'all, law of cosines was derived from the Pythagorean theorem. So this is always going to be the other legs squared and added together. And then it's always minus 2. And whatever legs you wrote right there, we're going to multiply them together. That's law of cosines. Starts with the same letters, ends with the same letters. Always adding the squares of the letters, always a minus 2, and then we multiply those other 2 legs together. All right, let me kind of zoom in on the process here. Guys, from here, we're just plugging in what we know and solving for what we don't know. So I know what leg B was. It was the biggest side. So this is going to be 24 squared equals. Then we're going to have 20 squared plus 6 squared minus 2 times those repeat legs, 20 and 6, both get dropped in parentheses. And then cosine capital B. So I'm going to make the calculator do most of the work. I don't trust the calculator too much on this process, so I'm going to break it up into two separate things. I'm going to go ahead and square 24. I'm going to go ahead and let the calculator do this part right here. But then I'm going to have the calculator do this -2 times 20 times 6 separately. All right, here we go. 24 squared, I've been doing that all day. It's 576. I don't have that memorized. I just have been doing it all day. And then on this, guys, remember I'm going to have the calculator do this part. You do have a squared key. It's next to the number 7. So I'm going to type 20 squared plus 6 squared. Just typing it exactly how I wrote it. So when I put that calculator input, I get an output of 436. And then let's talk about the next piece because it's been confusing people. Y'all, remember back in old junior high, minus and negative mean the same thing. -2 and -2 are the same thing in an expression. But I am breaking this up. So I am not writing -2 because I'm not continuing an expression. I'm starting from right here. So I'm going to type -2, the negative key. Then I'm using parentheses and I'm dropping those legs in, both of those parentheses. So when I break apart an expression that starts with a minus sign, it turns into a leading negative on the calculator when I break it apart. So when I hit enter, guys, that's going to be -240. So that's -240. I'm putting it back in the expression now. So -240 cosine B. And then from here, guys, this is a two-step equation. Look, it's just like this on the whiteboard. I just replaced cosine B with x. So you would subtract 436 from both sides. Then you would divide both sides by a -240. Same thing. So let's subtract 436 from both sides. So 576 minus 436. So that's going to be 140 equals -240 cosine B. Let's divide both sides by -240. Oh, and then we get that. And this is the only example I'm writing this down. So definitely do not clear that out. But do remember we're working with law of cosines. So we're going to hit second cosine, second answer. So second cosine, second answer. So that angle is 125.685 degrees. So angle B is 125.685 degrees. And guys, once you use law of cosines, you don't use it again in the same problem. Now I have a complete setup. I have angle B. Now I can do law of sines. So you only use law of cosines once. Now let's go ahead and solve the triangle. So I'm just going to write this as 125.685 degrees. And now I'm just going to work on solving the triangle real quick. So let me find angle C. So back to the old stuff of law of sines. So leg B is to sine of that new angle of 125.685. And then this is going to be leg C, which is 6 over sine C. So let's go ahead and find angle C. Don't forget, we are back in law of sines, so you're going to hit second sine, second answer. Whoa, what's going on here? Let me just start all over. I'm getting an error message. 6 sine 125.685, enter. Divided by 24, enter. Here we go. Second sine, second answer. So that angle is pretty small, which makes sense because that leg is pretty small. So we know the value for angle C is 11.716. So this is 11.716 degrees. Guys, we're just going to take this stuff away from 180 real quick. Go ahead and find angle C. And then we'll move on to example 2. So, I'm sorry, angle A. Angle A is going to be 180 minus this stuff. Minus the existing angles that we just found. So angle A is 42.599. Okay, that's law of cosine.